I'm Emily McDermott, Provost of the campus, and I'm happy to be here today to bring you all together in Convocation. Would you all please rise for the national anthem?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I just want to say thank you for that beautiful performance of the national anthem, and a shout out to the Performing Arts Department and specifically to the UMass Boston Vocal Quartet. We will hear more from them later in the program. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Interim Chancellor Barry Mills. I don't think you need any introduction by now, so here he is.
Well, thank you all. Good morning. I am Barry Mills, and I am your new Interim Chancellor of University of Massachusetts, Boston. Before I start my remarks, I'd like to welcome Dr. Jordan here, who's come to give us our talk today. She's really a terrific person, a person I've gotten to meet over the last number of months, and it's a real honor to have you here today. Thank you for being here. So yesterday, we had the investiture of first-year students. And the speaker was David Ortiz. And you cannot imagine the enthusiasm that was in this room and the strong feelings that this guy brings out in our students. So there was he talked for about 45 minutes, and everyone who asked him questions asked if they could take a selfie. So there were literally 30, 40 students on the stage being surrounded by David Ortiz taking selfies. I do not expect that that's going to happen this morning. In fact, I'm pretty sure of it. But it is my honor to welcome you all this morning to celebrate the start of the 53rd academic year of this important public urban research university located in what is one of simply the world's greatest cities, Boston. I came to UMass Boston in March of this year and assumed the position of interim chancellor only in July. So over this short period, I've met with many of you, and I've learned and listened to your hopes and your aspirations for this university, and I've heard your concerns as well. UMass Boston is a unique university, and in the short amount of time, I've come to understand the realities of this university. One cannot help but be drawn into this community in a powerful way, and it has certainly happened to me. I am a believer in the University of Massachusetts, Boston. The reality of this university is important and meaningful to thousands of students, faculty, and staff, to this city, to this region, and to the world we touch every day. The future of this university and its potential to be a leader in urban public education is unlimited and must be encouraged and supported by everyone enthusiastically. This is a university that since its inception has had a vision of itself as being important, special, and destined to greatness, a university with a mission and a vision. The founding chancellor of UMass Boston, John Ryan, pointed the university in the right direction when this campus community gathered for its first convocation on December 10th, 1966. It was a very different UMass Boston that gathered that day, The campus had been established only a year before with 1,240 students and 200 faculty members. At that time, UMass Boston was located in temporary quarters in Park Square section of Boston, downtown, and was based in the former headquarters of what I understand was the Boston Gas Company. I see some people smiling, prompting some to refer to the new school as UMass Gas. And happily, that nickname is not with us today. But we have retained, what we've retained is the vision of Chancellor Ryan, the original students and faculty, and all the others instrumental in founding this important university. When the UMass Boston community gathered that day, Chancellor Ryan stated unequivocally words that still matter today, that the idea and objective of this university is that of a public, urban center of learning, committed to providing a liberal education of genuine quality, to communicating the truths and values of humanism, to providing our society with the leadership and creativity that the future will demand. While charting a course of achievement at the highest level, Ryan made it clear that UMass Boston embraced its public mission and its urban mission with equal fervor. Chancellor Ryan said that UMass Boston must offer a quality educational opportunity to young people regardless of financial means, and should seek out young people whose race, recent immigration, or depressed economic status might otherwise jeopardize their access to higher, excellent education. He also noted that urban America needs urban universities. He said, urban America needs urban universities. Let us have a creative partnership politically, academically, and professionally to create an urban university, to support it, and to call upon it for massive contributions to our efforts to come to grips with the problems that we all face. Now, those words ring true today, and that course that was charted that one day many years ago has been supported by chancellors from John Ryan to J. Keith Motley, who have adhered and advanced that mission. And it is what makes this campus that moved from Park Square to Dorchester Bay so special and so critical to our future. And so when I say our future, I mean the future of the students who choose UMass Boston, and also to our shared future. Because we at UMass Boston understand and insist that all of us, regardless of race, ethnicity, religion, gender, or gender identity, whether our families have been in this country for generations or they arrived much more recently, all of us are in this together. And we are stronger and better when everyone has the opportunity to develop his or her abilities to the utmost and live happy and productive lives. These are the goals the founders of UMass Boston had in mind. These are the goals of today. So let me assure you that access, opportunity, justice, and excellence are our goals today. We are going to stand with and for each other here at UMass Boston. Now, we find ourselves at the beginning of a new academic year, and as such, it is typically a moment of renewal and hope. And I certainly felt the great sweep of that moment when I greeted our students who came to the campus for the first time last week. I met with students from Boston, from around the Commonwealth, from other parts of America, and from around the world, who come to this university filled with hope and optimism for their futures. Our students arrived with excitement so palpable that it reinforced for me, and I hope for you, the imperatives of delivering on our commitment and our mission. Now, at the heart of our mission resides our faculty. Over my career, I've had the opportunity to lead a remarkable liberal arts college and be engaged with colleges and universities across America. These educational institutions that are characterized as excellent have one very important and special common characteristic. They all have engaged, excellent, and ambitious faculty who are committed to their teaching, their scholarship, and the life of their university. Over my short time here at UMass Boston, I have come to understand that this university is truly exceptional because it, too, has a devoted and particularly talented faculty. There is much said about universities and what makes them great, but make no mistake, The strength of a university is found in its faculty and its commitment, a commitment to students, a passion for your research, and an understanding that an institutional perspective and engagement are central to the attainment of our mission. And we at UMass Boston are excellent because of the strength of our faculty. That has been a hallmark of this institution and continues to be, and I think we should celebrate that excellence. I think it also should be said that this institution has not always had it easy, probably an understatement, for those of you who have been here a lot longer than I. Infrastructure problems from the outset, funding levels that have not always been what they should be and maybe aren't even today, the disruptions stemming from the construction projects in recent years. Despite all those challenges, and because of its commitment to the students, to the institution, to teaching, to scholarship, because of passion and integrity, this faculty has delivered and achieved at the highest level in the liberal arts, the arts, and nursing and health sciences, environmental studies, the classics, gerontology, green chemistry, education, computer science, and anyone I've left out, you're all terrific. UMass Boston faculty research played a role in the major cleanup of the Boston Harbor, but also went into a more internal world, providing remarkable insights into how babies think. You have been research leaders in areas including STEM education, health disparities, sustainability, biomedical and life sciences, clinical psychology, and on and on. It is important to recognize this high level of achievement and for people to understand why it is important to be a research university in this city. And so I want to take a moment to thank and commend the members of the UMass Boston faculty, past and present, for all that you have done, and more importantly, for all that you will do. And I want to thank you on behalf of the 100,000 UMass Boston students who have received a world-class education. Now, over the past 6 months, I've also had the opportunity to engage with hundreds of members of our staff who believe in UMass Boston and its mission. Our staff colleagues are diligent, talented, committed, work hard, show up every day, and do the important work of this institution. Their work is central to this university and its success. We at UMass Boston are fortunate and blessed to have such a talented group of colleagues committed to our mission. UMass Boston is also blessed by a vibrant community of committed alumni, eager to support this university as they each remember the vital contribution that this university made to their lives. One of our challenges is to engage our graduates and make sure they understand how much we want them to stay close to their university, and we have to give them meaningful and convenient ways to do so. And then UMass Boston has a special place in this community. Our commitment to social justice and to opportunity is central to the relationship of this university to its neighbors and to its larger community. Fundamental to what we do here is educating the family members of the Boston community. And unlike so many other colleges and universities in Boston that are really great, we're better because our graduates stay and live and work in Boston and in the neighboring communities. So what we do here, let's be clear, what we do here is we change lives. We change the lives directly of our graduates, but also their families that benefit from the success of those graduates. And that success is amplified in important ways, because those graduates go on in this city to lead this community and help to improve it. So the importance of this university to the city of Boston and to the state can't be underestimated. We are terrifically important in what we do here. This year, we begin with many good news stories. We welcome this year the largest first-year, first-time freshman class in the university's history. Our transfer population continues to be strong, and our graduate programs are vibrant. We have hosts of new faculty who have been on the screens, a group of new deans, and members of our faculty who have recently been promoted. Congratulations, and thank you for all your important work and all the important work that we will do together. We have gleaming buildings in our campus center and University Hall in the Integrated Science Center. The road project, well, it is moving more quickly now, and one can even see Dorchester Bay as the construction abates. Our new parking garage is on schedule and should be open sometime late in the spring, and our first residential hall, with over 1,000 beds, will be open this time next year. And the good news is, at least for the moment, we are on time and on budget. Our faculty continue to be recognized for their teaching and research and for their activities in our community, where I've said and explained they make important contributions. Notwithstanding all that good news and the optimism that accompanies the arrival of a new academic year, we all understand that our university faces significant financial and physical structure issues that must be addressed. These challenges facing the university have been documented extensively over the past few months. We face significant financial issues in our operating budgets, and we face serious legacy physical issues, principally relating to the substructure that must be remedied. Complicating this process significantly, we have found it difficult to uncover reliable data and budget analysis. Much of our efforts over the summer, and continuing even today, is to organize data and create a process that is reliable and upon which we can begin to make decisions based on fact-based analysis and, equally, our mission. The process has turned out to be much more complicated than I anticipated and, candidly, more frustrating than I expected. We've worked very hard over the summer to understand the magnitude of these budget issues and the origin and basis for our financial issues. We have begun, emphasis on the word begun, to map out and consider various strategies for the future. These conversations have included conversations with a large and varied set of constituencies, albeit probably and certainly not to the level of transparency we aspire to achieve, and certainly not to the level the community expects and deserves. We'll endeavor over the next weeks and months to improve this communication. However, this imperative of openness, respect, and transparency is not limited to the folks who work on the third floor of Quinn with me and those other senior administrators. It's important for this community to turn a page. This openness, transparency, and respect are also the responsibility of deans, program directors, department chairs, faculty leaders, staff leaders, and student government. And I would hope and expect that we will all work together respectfully. We'll have hard decisions to make, but if we work together respectively and with an institutional perspective, remembering our mission, in the interest of achieving success and advancing the common good of this university. I have every confidence that working together, we can chart a course for this university that will deliver on its mission within the financial constraints of our available resource. As we chart that course and implement our design, I'm also optimistic that public and private support for UMass Boston will grow. The more people believe in our mission, and we show the discipline that we will bring to pursuing that mission, the more private philanthropy and public and government resources will support us. So finally, let me speak to two issues fundamental to this university and central to the reason I decided to come here: access and opportunity and degree completion. Access and opportunity are fundamental to an urban university. We must be open and affordable to students from across Boston, the Commonwealth, America, and the world. This mission of excellence and affordability is fundamental to UMass Boston. And so as we make choices and set a course, this mission will remain paramount. A first-class, affordable college education and graduate programs is our mission, and we must deliver. And students, both undergraduate and graduate students, must finish their course of study. It is essential that our students graduate and graduate on time. The 6-year graduation rate at this university is said to be about 45% in the aggregate for our undergraduates. The optimism I felt last week as I greeted our new students was candidly tempered by the reality I understood that so many of those faces won't finish. There are many factors that contribute to students not finishing. Some of those factors are beyond our control. But if we're truly honest with ourselves, most are not. And our job is to promote and deliver student success. I take little comfort from our graduation rates relative to those found at other public research universities, because candidly, they don't look so bad. Because for us at UMass Boston, it's about absolute performance. And we should do better. Our university should be a model for student success. We should be creating inventive strategies for success. Now, some will argue that in a world of limited resources, we are limited in what we can achieve. So I ask you to think about our students, and I ask you to model our efforts after our students. Students who are achieving remarkably in a world of their limited resources. So I ask you to refocus our imaginations, recommit to our strategies, think innovatively, and let's get out there and do the work, the blocking and tackling, to ensure that students who come to UMass Boston understand that our promise is nothing short of excellence. This is a fabulous place where they can get a great education at an affordable price. This is an opportunity for them. An unwavering focus on our efforts has to be to allow them to reach their goals. And those goals, when they graduate from here, is a life of unlimited possibilities, a very different life from the life they will have if they don't finish that college degree. So what in some may see as dark days, I'm a very optimistic guy. We will work hard, we'll work together, we'll work respectfully, and we'll come up with solutions that will allow this university to prosper into the future. UMass Boston is a terrific university. No one should think anything less of this university than any place else in America. We are an excellent place, and that is the new mindset that we have to remind ourselves every day. This is a place about opportunity, it's about promise, and it delivers an education that no other university in Boston can deliver at an affordable price for our students to be able to succeed. We are the beacon by the bay. It is simply my honor to be part of this community. I'm delighted to be here. I wish you all a healthy and rewarding academic year. All the very best to you, and let us join together for the success of our UMass Boston. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor Mills. I can't resist saying, any of you who have any Latin in your background will know that a convocation is a time when we come together. We are called together. Chancellor Mills has made it clear that we're not only being convoked today, but we're being convoked for the rest of the year. And with luck, we'll all come together over this whole year in the more John Lennon-esque sense of the word. So at this point, some of the students will be coming in that are going to come in with their classes. They'll be coming in the back door as quietly as they can to fill in, while again we welcome the UMass Boston Vocal Quartet to perform for us.
First, we're going to sing the school alma mater, which reflects the words that the Chancellor just spoke.
We beheld UMass Boston, a torch in your hand, saw a crown on your brow, heard your voice of command, that we follow the lead of your bold guiding light toward knowledge and wisdom and fervor for right, toward knowledge and wisdom and fervor for right. How that glow has burned bright through the passage of years, as our dreams dispel doubt, and our hopes assuage fears, as our eyes wash that gleam with conviction and trust, and we learn to place faith in the good and the just, and we learn to place faith in the good and the just. May that torch never dim as life beckons us forth. May it shine like a jewel of fathomless worth. Like tall ships setting sail, may we steer evermore to that beacon of beauty and truth on the shore, to that beacon of beauty and truth on the shore.
And now an African-American spiritual called Plenty Good Room on the Glory Train. We thought about changing the words to encourage people to take public transportation to campus, but decided to leave it stay with the original words.
Plenty good room, plenty good room, plenty good room on the glory train. There's a plenty good room. There's a plenty good room. There's a plenty good room on the glory train.
Well, you're gonna need a ticket if you wanna ride.
Plenty good room on the glory train.
But it ain't gonna happen unless you qualify.
Plenty good room on the glory train.
Better mind what you say and what you do.
Plenty good room on the glory train.
There's a mighty, mighty power watching over you.
Plenty good room on the glory train. There's a plenty good room. Plenty good room. Plenty good room on the glory train. There's a plenty good room. There's a plenty good room. There's a plenty good room on the glory train. We'll now hear the angel Gabriel shouting, all aboard. Plenty good room on the glory train. Glory trains are heading up to heaven's door. Plenty good room on the glory train.
There's a long golden pathway reaching toward the sun.
Plenty good room on the glory train.
Now the heavenly journey has just begun.
Plenty good room on the glory train.
There's a
Plenty good room. Plenty good room. Plenty good room on the glory train. There's a plenty good room.
There's a
Plenty good room. There's a plenty good room on the glory train.
Now the trains are really moving, hear the clickety-clack.
Plenty good room on the glory train. Mile after mile down the railroad track. Plenty good room on the glory train.
Big wheel a turning, everything is fine.
Plenty good room on the glory train. She's never missing a beat, and she's right on time. Plenty good room on the glory train. Ooh, great God Almighty, hear the engine roar. Plenty good room on the glory train. The boiler's burning and there's room for more. Plenty good room on the glory train. Woo, woo, goes the whistle. What a joyful noise. Plenty good room on the glory train. Next stop will be paradise. Plenty good room on the glory train. Plenty good room, plenty good room, plenty good room on the glory train. There's a plenty good room. There's a plenty good room. There's a plenty good room on the glory train. There's a plenty good room. Plenty good room. Plenty good room on the glory train. There's a plenty good room. There's a plenty good room. There's a plenty good room on the glory train. Plenty good room on the glory train.
Thank you. These are three students, Abigail Glick, Ali Medizadeh, Elizabeth George, and I'm filling in for Adam Ogello.
Thank you to the quartet again, and to Professor Giesau for filling in. Even if they didn't change the words to encourage public transportation, I think we can all easily take that song as a metaphor for UMass Boston education. At this point, I'd like to call Chancellor Mills back to the podium.
So good morning again, and welcome to the best part of this morning's convocation. And it is, I'm delighted that so many students have come to hear our accomplished speaker. I know that many classes have arranged for these students to come here because of the work that's being done in those classes related to what Dr. Jordan does. So I'm very pleased to welcome Dr. Myechia Jordan here today as she spends a few minutes with us talking about her most impressive educational and professional journey. We had the opportunity to meet, I would say about 3 or 4 months ago, and I went over to Dimmock to meet her and expected to spend about 15 or 20 minutes, and 2 hours later, we continued to be talking, and then I've gone back to visit again. We found ourselves to be kindred spirits and being able to help each other in our respective tasks. So by way of a little background, Dr. Jordan is president and CEO of the Dimmock Center, the largest employer in Roxbury and the second largest community health center in Boston, maybe the largest. It is the largest. The Dimmock Center is considered a national model of comprehensive health and human services and reaches more than 17,000 people annually. She began her tenure in Dimmock in 2007 as their chief medical officer, an innovative physician administrator. She's also responsible for the successful transition to the electronic medical record system, established Dimmock's first institutional review board to pave way for research using human subjects, and in 2012 led the effort to secure a nearly $5 million federal grant from the Health Resource Services Administration to expand and transform the health center facility into a medical home. As CEO, she's played a leadership role in developing the Harvard Primary Care Center initiative that partners academic hospitals and community health centers to transform into patient-centered medical homes. She's a graduate of Brown University, a School of Medicine, and Johns Hopkins University Carey School of Business with an MBA in Health Services. In addition to the work at the Dimmock Center, Dr. Jordan has also held positions at Johns Hopkins Medical Center as an attending physician, an instructor of medicine, and director of medical consultation services at Johns Hopkins Bayview Medical Center. Her collaborative work has led to significant partnerships linking Dimmock to world-class institutions such as the Harvard Medical School, Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center, Partners Healthcare, and I also understand UMass Boston's been involved too. She's widely respected for her expertise and insight, has been appointed to numerous health oversight committees and commissions, serves on the board of many Boston's leading nonprofit organizations. She is one of Boston's most important leaders, and certainly with a very, very bright future for our city and for her. I am honored to welcome Dr. Jordan to UMass Boston. Her leadership, innovation, collaboration, and dedication to community health issues have engaged Boston's health community and the city at large in new and very important ways. Please welcome Dr. Jordan.
Good morning. All right, let's try that one more time. Good morning. All right, thank you. I am incredibly pleased to be here with you today and honored to have been asked to participate in this special time at the University of Massachusetts. I'd like to extend a special thank you to Chancellor Mills for the invitation, and it was quite wonderful to get to know him on the occasions that we've had the opportunity to sit down. I'd like to share a few themes today, centering on my perspectives on the importance of diversity, cultivating leadership, and the intersection of the two. This is an important time in history, our community, and in my life. I'm blessed to have the opportunity to stand here before you as a community leader, physician, mother, and wife. I bring all of these roles and perspectives together as I reflect on what's happening in our world, in politics, race relations, and our community. Quite frankly, at times, I'm saddened by our collective inability to see and hear one another's viewpoints. I'm saddened by our polarization and deep-rooted, misguided beliefs that superiority is defined by the color of one's skin or by our gender, not just in the US, but in almost every country and culture in the world. So many pioneers who have worked for and continue to work for parity for women, for people of color, for those who are less fortunate, and I am sobered by this reality. Yet I refuse to stay in that place. Being amongst you today, I feel optimistic. I'm energized by students, educators, and leaders. Even as we expose our faults, our fears, our misconceptions, we open up a door that had been previously closed to communication. Communication about racial injustice, systemic racism, gender bias, and equal pay for women. These conversations are challenging and sometimes uncomfortable, yet they are necessary, and they propel us to act and to change. My standing here before you today is only possible because of the incredible sacrifices that have been made by others: abolitionists, suffragists, advocates, those leaders who were relentless in their efforts to seek equal rights for all. Last year, I had the opportunity to meet and talk with Congressman John Lewis. As we know, this is a man who fought for our civil rights. He was bloodied, beaten, and jailed so that I and so many of you could have the right to attend this university, vote, and live with dignity and freedom. Sitting next to Congressman Lewis, I felt so much emotion. I was completely overwhelmed with gratitude and pride. When he was asked how he deals with all that is happening in our world today, his simple and powerful answer was that we must continue to have hope. If this man who has endured so much could still be hopeful, how can I or anyone in this room not be hopeful? So I am inspired and determined to maintain the hope that Congressman Lewis instilled in me that day. As the president of the Dimick Center, one of the most important things that I can do is to lead with hope, lead towards solutions, and create partnerships and strategies to face and overcome challenges. I also do my best to instill hope in my daughters, other young women, and in all of our children, our future. When I think of successful leaders, there are common threads of fearlessness, perseverance, inspiration, and hope, all in service to the greater good, the less fortunate, and those in need. I'm reminded by a quote by Abigail Adams: "If we do not lay ourselves in the service of mankind, who shall we serve?" The skill required to bridge divides and to promote inclusiveness is part of the makings of a trailblazer and a leader. I believe that in order for each of us to create clear pathways to success, we cannot do it alone. We must reach across to those who may not look like us or share our beliefs or cultural traits and find common ground. We must hold on to the belief that people want what is just, that we all want to better ourselves and our understanding of the world. We all want a future that is ripe with the potential for the next generation. I've been blessed to become a physician and now a CEO of an incredible organization, the Dimick Center. And I'd like to tell you a little bit about my journey to date and some of the lessons that I've learned along the way. I began my medical career at Johns Hopkins, as you heard, and my journey there began with excitement and anxiety. And it was an incredible time of personal growth and increased self-awareness. I graduated from the residency program in internal medicine there and was offered a position to establish and run a new medical consultation service. And at the same time, my male colleague was offered the position of running a newly created inpatient medical service. So here I am, freshly graduated from residency, finally making above minimum wage, and I eagerly accepted the offer and the title that was put before me. And in the midst of this, a little birdie told me that my male colleague was making more salary than I was. And so I learned some valuable lessons that year. Do my homework when evaluating opportunities, understand the value of the work that I did for the institution, and understand what the organization also values, as well as pay attention to gender equality. The fact is that 15 years later after that experience, women make around 80% of what men make for the same position, and we are dramatically underrepresented on boards, occupying roughly 13% of all board seats. Needless to say, becoming a doctor does not prepare you for the business world, and ultimately, all things are business. Healthcare is a business. I knew enough to know what I did not know, and I did not understand how to think about the value of my work and how it aligned with the financial needs of my institution. So what did I do? I went back to school. I started taking business classes, finance, accounting, marketing, etc. And every class that I took was relevant to my work and the decisions that I made about my career choices. As a result, I started taking on additional responsibilities that were interesting to me while at the same time important to the hospital. I became medical director of the telemetry unit, and I joined and later led the quality improvement committee. I learned the value of seeking opportunities that enhance my position within the organization, as well as my ability to contribute to the bottom line. For many of us, the opportunity to learn can actually change the trajectory of our lives. We are here at UMass to take every advantage of what knowledge can do for you, your family, and your community. And this is not an opportunity to be taken lightly or for granted. We all know that there are people in this world who would sacrifice almost anything to be here, to learn, to change your life's circumstances. And I took advantage of that opportunity at Hopkins, and it quite literally changed my life. So after a few years and several courses, I reached a point where I was a few credits away from earning my MBA from Johns Hopkins, and my career was steadily advancing. Yet, something was missing. I was good at what I was doing, but I was not completely fulfilled, and I could not rid myself of that feeling of being frustrated. So a search firm recruiter reached out to me to tell me about a search that she was conducting, the opportunity to be the chief medical officer at Dimick Community Health Center. And I knew nothing about community health centers. But life does not always do what you intend it to do. Sometimes choices are presented to you that deviate from the path that you've laid out for yourself, and you have to be brave enough to check them out. So that is what I did. I did my research. I went to the website, saw the array of services that were offered at Dimick, and I was quite frankly blown away. As I came to understand Dimick and its incredible model of care, I developed a deeper understanding of our community and an appreciation of what it truly means to provide community health. At the end of a grueling interview day, I knew that what I had seen and experienced changed my idea of what type of medicine I wanted to practice, of where I wanted to practice, and what my life in medicine could be. I had found a mission that resonated with me, and I knew that Dimick was a place that I wanted to be. That feeling of finding your purpose is incredibly exciting, invigorating, enlightening, and sometimes a little daunting at the same time. And I think this lesson applies to almost everyone in this room. We have to constantly ask ourselves, have we found, or how do we find the position, the career that resonates with who we are, with our values, and with our sense of purpose? And for many of us in this room, your time at UMass is just starting. You do not need to feel like you have to find your purpose right away. In fact, you need the upcoming years to grow, to expand your thinking, to be open to new possibilities, and the incredible staff here at UMass will help you find that guiding inner purpose. There were many times along my journey that I would not have made it if it were not for my own fortitude, coupled with a growing ability and skill to learn and seek help from people at all levels of my institution. As a medical student at Brown University, I was often one of very few people of color. My biggest and most memorable supporters came from the hospital staff. I cannot tell you the number of times a member of the janitorial staff or a kitchen worker would come up to me and tell me how proud they were of me. and they encouraged me to keep studying and working hard. My professors were also instrumental in my success. They pushed me, they questioned me, while giving me the tools that I needed to become a good physician. My patients were also some of my most memorable and impactful teachers. I learned from my patients about their lives and the personal experiences that shaped their disease or illness. I learned that chronic disease is not simply a clinical diagnosis, but an experience very often based on one's ability to understand what it means to have the disease, coupled with the struggle to afford medications or to afford food. I also learned about the barriers to care that immigrants face, the religious beliefs of Jehovah's Witnesses, and about some of the principles of Islam and Judaism. I learned that the context of my patients' lives is just as important as the disease or illness that I was treating. In fact, they were inseparable. If my patient could not afford food and pay their light bill, how could I be effective in treating their disease? If I did not know and did not ask about these important social determinants of health, how could I really create a plan of care? Practicing medicine at DEMIC has taught me what it truly means to appreciate diversity and to be holistic and comprehensive in providing services and programs to underserved populations. It's taught me about cultural competency and how to manage bias, whether conscious or unconscious. The starting point for this is open communication and a willingness to take the opportunity to educate oneself about others. I've taken those experiences and drawn parallels to working in the business world. I learned early on and continue to verify almost daily that leadership in a diverse world is complicated. To create sustainable leadership, leaders must now show competence in cross-cultural awareness and strongly value diversity and inclusion. At the same time, leaders need to be able to think quickly and strategically, utilize technology to its fullest potential, and understand that the ever-present impact of globalization constantly impacts our work. This type of effective leadership is often the key to optimizing organizational development and change. Time and time again, studies have proven that the best companies, those that thrive in our economy, have an intentional focus on diversity and inclusion. Therefore, recognizing, supporting, and encouraging diversity is not only the right thing to do, it's a strategic business decision. So in closing, I'd like to leave you with the following. Every day is a new beginning. This convocation is your beginning to a year at UMass that is ripe with hope and promise. You must take every advantage, push your boundaries, and intentionally move outside of your comfort zones. Know that diversity is our strength. Celebrate the diversity here. Seek it and leverage it. Listen, empathize, and learn from others. Look beyond yourself to create solutions and amplify your impact. Enrich your time at UMass by collaborating with colleagues, faculty, other students, those whose knowledge, skills, and life experiences complement your own. And finally, use your time at UMass to find your passion. Enhance your education, discover what drives you, and what resonates with your personal values. I'd like to thank you for this incredible opportunity to be here with you today, and I wish you every success in all that you seek to accomplish this year and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Very much. Oh, sure. Absolutely.
I'll hold the
See, I told you there'd be selfies. Thank you.
I know I said that I would take questions. I'm not sure if anybody has questions, but I'm happy to answer any career questions, gender bias questions, what's it like to be a mother question. But if the students don't have any, I will just end and say again, thank you so much for the time today, and I wish you luck with this year.
Well, thank you all for being here today. I think the inspiring words of Dr. Jordan will lead us into another great year. This is an important year for UMass Boston, and it's an important year every year for our students. So I'm delighted to welcome you all today and look forward to seeing you all around campus often. Have a great day and a great year. Thanks for being here.